Okay, looks like we are live. Look at this, Chris Michel. We did it. We got live. This is our first. This is our inaugural Club 21,000 Mondays live at 11 event. This is so exciting for me. I've got a bunch of questions that I'm going to be asking you, but in the beginning, I want you to ask me some questions. So, but I'm going to give you the questions that I want you to ask me.
Okay,
So,
good.
ask me why I started this.
Gosh, Gabe, I'm really excited to be here. I'm curious, why in the world would you start something like this?
Okay, so that's a great question. So actually, um, what we have? Oh, great.
And now you're getting people calling you. They want
Yeah,
to know what's going on.
there we go. Here's the dumpster fire starting already. So it just so happens that as digital card owners, we have a power hour every Thursday. And out of that power hour come ideas that we try and support each other in business in different ways, whether it be sales or marketing or any of that kind of stuff. And I think it was last week, or the week before the holiday, where we were talking about live streaming. And I've always been kind of somebody who is staying away from it because I used to be real popular with the ladies, but as I get older, my my face is starting to deteriorate a little bit. So I've never been too excited about being on camera. But but I thought, you know what, this is a good idea, and then in learning about StreamYard, which is a service that we're using, it can stream to different platforms at the same time, which I'm hoping that we're doing right now. Um, I'm just going to
That's
click
the
on the
plan, right? That's
what's
what we're
that?
going to go with.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. We'll find out later
Right.
if it worked, or if we got booted off from somewhere or whatever. But so yeah, it just seems like every week in the Power Hour, I change something in my business to utilize some of the knowledge that given, but from people like yourself and all the other superstars that come to that event. So that's kind of why I started. But at the same time, I'm motivated by giving value to
Mhm.
my card owners and also giving value to the people who are listening. This isn't about us selling to you, whoever is out there watching or listening to this. It's about trying to provide tidbits of things that you can use in your business to do better. So that's why I started this. Um, and I guess the last thing that I wanted to say about that is it's just it kind of demonstrates how we're all working together,
Yeah.
and how that's possible. We even have different sales. Chris Michel is a sales coach. We'll get to you in a second, Chris.
Yeah, that's right. Well, this is about you, Gabe. I mean, really, it's all
Yeah,
about you. So
yeah. Uh, so yeah, we're now I lost my train of thought here.
it's okay. If you don't mind, you're right. The Club 21,000 that we get together on Thursdays has been such a unique situation. It started out kind of as a networking thing, but then it really became about collaboration and how to figure out how we get together and how we can help each other. And it's amazing to be able to listen to Steve or Machen or Lorraine or Carol, right? I mean, everyone who brings something to the table, even the small little comments that they make turns into gold, right?
Right.
And being able to pick up on those things, and it sounds like that's what you're hoping this will be is some sort of a nugget that people can gain some sort of wisdom from, and you're sharing it not just with Club 21,000, but now you're sharing it with the world.
Right, right, and the reason for that is just because I find it so valuable. So why should,
Mhm.
um, why shouldn't we share it? I mean,
Right.
and that's the whole culture of what we do. That's what I love about, as we call it, Club 21,000. Um, is that is the people that are involved in it. They're so anxious to help each other, and they're smart. They've got there's a lot of experience. So I'm really really excited. So anyway, so again, this is our inaugural event. Maybe I should start throwing some of my banners on the screen here. There we go.
All
Welcome
the
to our
tips and tricks. Look at this.
right. So anyway, so we'll keep that going for a little bit. Um, So this is the inaugural event, and I expect this to evolve some as we go along. But the idea again is to uplift everybody that's involved, including my guests, including people that are out there. And I think we've had enough of that. So, and so we'll start with Chris Michel. So, Chris, I asked you to send a bio, and here is what you sent me. Chris is as an outsourced HVAC and home services sales manager. Chris gets to help small to medium business owners who are self-managing sales and should not be. Chris has been around sales and management for over 30 years and has seen people struggle with having a solid sales process. Some are born with the ability to sell and need to be fine tuned in their processes, while others need help finding a sales process that will help them get on track and become a solid salesperson. He's written a book called The Red Chair Experience that will be available in March. So that's your bio that you sent me, and I'm going to read one or not read one. I'm just going to do one off the cuff of my experience with you personally.
Okay.
So I met Chris in it was a local virtual networking and a meeting, just like a regular Zoom meeting. And I think I invited him to my at that time I was doing my own networking thing, so I invited him to mine. We've kind of been joined at the hip ever since, but and only because he lets me steal stuff from him, like his advice. I mean, it's one, and that's not the only reason, but no, but that's one thing I do admire about him is that he's very giving with the knowledge that he has, and but at the same that is worth charging for. So that's one thing I do. Don't think I never appreciate that when I do say, "Hey, let me run this one by you," because but because that those sessions are pretty fun for me. Um, we both live in Atlanta. Chris lives in Woodstock, and I live in Dallas, Georgia. But we've never met each other in person yet. And
No,
someday,
we haven't.
someday that will happen. Had it been before the pandemic, we would have been met many times because we would all have hit the same networking or at least some of the same networking events. But it just so happens. I mean, it's just kind of weird when you think about it, about how people are connecting now, right?
Yeah.
And and I think I'm as deeply connected with you as I would have had we done this in person,
Yeah.
right? For this period of time. So it's really kind of interesting. But anyway,
Mhm.
so your book called The Red Chair Experience. Now, I didn't ask you beforehand. Did you want to talk about that
Oh, we
on this
can. Yeah, we can
platform?
absolutely talk about it. Yeah, I mean, it's a daily motivational book, inspirational book to help people out with life and business, and that's really what it's geared towards. So it's a chance for people to um, read something every day, get a little motivation or inspiration, and go about their day.
Did you want to
So,
talk about the history behind it?
well, the history behind it is there is a red chair that I own, and it had two previous owners. One was my stepfather, who was my business mentor for a number of years, and we lost him about 6 years ago. And that chair got passed along from my mother down to my brother, my younger brother, and I actually delivered it from my mom out to my younger brother a few years ago, and then we lost my brother in September of 19, and I got the chair because it was his chair. It was
Right.
where he went because he had health issues with his hip, and so he would sometimes go and sleep in that chair. But when we lost him in September of 19, my sister-in-law and nephew and niece said, they didn't want it in the house, and they asked if I would take it. And I said, absolutely. So it now is my place that I go and read in the mornings, meditate, pray, and it's that was the beginning of what is now the Red Chair Experience, the book, and so that's the inspiration for it.
Hmm. Well, that's really powerful, and I love it when I hear you talk about it. So that's really really cool. So yeah, I think as I said, it's been great getting to know you so far, and I appreciate you supporting me in a lot of different stuff we do.
Mhm.
Another thing that we've got coming up, which is a plug for our event on the 18th. We've got something
Yes.
called a collaboration forum, which is a Club 21,000 event, but it's also open to the public. So it's gonna be kind of sort of like this, but not, but yeah, but not really. But the idea is that there's gonna be 10 speakers. Chris is one of them, and I'm one of them. There'll be 10 different rooms on Zoom, and we're going to, just talk about a subject and invite people to come. Did you want to elaborate on that event a little bit more?
Sure. I think it's going to be a great opportunity for people to come and listen to a number of different people who have variations in their mastery, basically, whether they're marketing or sales or finance or marketing. It really doesn't matter. I mean, there's so many different opportunities, right? So you'll get a chance to go and be in a room and have a conversation. It's not just a, hey, I'm going to speak to you for an hour. It's a chance for people to come in, listen for maybe 5-10 minutes to something that would be helpful, a useful tip, trick, point, something along those lines. And then it's really an open discussion into how people can learn and grow from those opportunities. So that I'm looking forward to it. I think it's going to be a lot of fun, not just because I'm initially speaking at this one, but afterwards, going to some of the other events that we'll continue to do like that, where I'll get to listen and be a part of the audience too.
Hmm. Yeah. So if you're interested in participating and interested in sharing to people who you think might be want to do that, it's a free event. It's open to all businesses. Just text the word collab to 21,000, COLLAB to 21,000 to get more information on that. So I'm looking in the comments, and I see Lorraine is here. Hello, Lorraine. Good to see you. And Cecilia Johns and Ellery Chipolo. Um, they're writing stuff I don't really understand. So welcome to this, and we want this to be not just you guys hearing us blathering on, but if you have any questions or if you have any comments or if you want to participate in the discussion, just feel free and write it in the comments. And I don't think is there a way I could? I don't think I can bring them up on stage. It's not like
No.
that, but they can comment on, and
Yeah.
and we should be able to see them.
Right.
So that's cool. So I encourage you to do that. Um, and let's see what else. What else do we have here? So you are a sales coach, and you
Mhm.
work with companies. You're not just a sales. Are you more of a sales coach, or as you say, an outsourced sales manager? And is there a difference?
So yeah, as an outsourced sales manager or a fractional sales manager, you'll hear a lot of different terms like that. Basically, it's you're using a fraction of the time and you're paying a fraction of what they would cost normally.
Right.
So, in other
Right.
words, if somebody were to hire me as a sales manager, right, with all of my years of experience and everything, you're going to pay north of six figures for that kind of a person, right?
Right.
And plus, you're going to pay benefits, plus, you're going to pay bonuses, all these other things that go along with it. The good news is, if you hire me for a fraction of the time, you also pay or are going to pay a fraction of that cost, right?
Right.
And so the beauty of using somebody like myself as an outsourced sales manager or a fractional sales manager is you get all of the wisdom and the knowledge and the years of experience that we bring to the table at a fraction of the cost. And so we typically can do some of the things until you're ready to grow and bring on a full-time sales manager, fractional or a full-time sales manager or CFO or CMO, anything along those lines. Then you still get the benefit and the wisdom and the knowledge of those people, right?
Mm-hmm.
So as a sales coach, I take it a step further in that as an outsourced sales manager, I do get to coach. And I do sales coaching along those lines. But then I also, as a sale, I take it a step further, if you will, in terms of sales coaching. But yeah, I do get in and work individually with people, and collectively I work with teams, and I get to coach them and give them specific direction on things that they're doing, and give them, if you will, opportunities to grow and expand and get better at what they do.
Okay, very good. So you're doing actually both. You're managing salespeople, but you're actually coaching the sale. You're coaching them as well, right?
Correct.
And do
Yeah,
you
but
coach?
I'm also helping out the or the owner by managing the sales force, if you will, and driving the metrics, the KPIs, the creating processes. A lot of times
Right.
people don't have a process in place, and
That
that's
yeah,
really
that
the
that
idea
was
of a sales
yeah,
manager.
that leads into my next question that I had, which what is your process when you work with a company? How does that work?
So a lot of it's going to depend on where they're at and what's going on with them. But first and foremost is I want to meet with everybody. I need to meet with everybody that I need to meet with, that helps me to understand the team and the direction that they're going to try and go. It's not just the owner. It could be a salesperson. It could be from an HVAC or plumbing, electrical. I want to work with the technicians too to find out where they're at and kind of understanding the company culture. Because one of the things that I do is I do help to drive the company culture and to change, not change it, but to solidify it and bring it really to fruition. So, so I meet with them. I meet with the owner initially. I try and find out what they're looking for, where they want to go. Then I meet with the individuals to understand where they're at and where I need to get them, where they're at currently, so that we can go and figure out how to make the next steps work for them and get them on a track of success. And then I set up processes and help them to understand what their processes should look like. And we mold that into the company and really what they're doing. And part of that just helps to build the culture in terms of where they're at and where they're going.
Okay. And so, what type of companies do you like to work with?
Ones that want to work with me. That's what I found are the best ones.
Mm-hmm.
But seriously, all kidding aside, it's people who realize, hey, I need help with my business. I want to work on getting from point A to point B. I no longer can manage the team. I'm not doing it effectively, and quite frankly, I don't like doing it. Right, and that's the business owner saying those things, not me.
Right. Right.
But the business owner saying, man, I can't do this anymore, and I need someone to help me. So we get to a certain point in our lives a lot of times where we say, hey, I need someone. I need a who, not how, right?
Mm-hmm.
If you haven't read the book, great book. But figuring out who you need to work with to help you to get from where you are to where you want to go. And when you do that, people start to see, hey, I need to work with somebody like Coach Chris. I need to work with somebody like Gabe O'Neill, right? I need to work with people who want help with their business, and they're willing to listen, and they're willing to learn, and they're willing to work on what they have to do.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Yeah. So I want to move into. I did have another question. That's kind of different, but I know I'm struggling here.
You're doing fine.
But I'm actually trying to listen to what you're saying and then add some stuff. But it's just kind of foreign to me that what you're doing. So I'm having a hard time with that. But let me ask you a different question.
Okay.
Do you think that sales is different if you're doing if you were doing it in Rhode Island versus like California?
I'm going to say it depends. So yes and no. It doesn't matter, because sales is sales. What does matter is your ability to listen to people and work with, number one, their personalities and where they're at and how things go. So things are different in New England than they are here in the Southeast,
Mm-hmm.
and people are they're very different in terms of their mentalities and the way that they do things. They're more direct in the Northeast than they are in the Southeast.
Okay.
And because of that, you have to learn how to adjust to that, right? You have to be more direct. You have to, you can be as straightforward as possible with people in the Northeast. And I'm generalizing, I know that, but
Right.
there is a difference in geography. When you're in the Midwest, I grew up in the Midwest. People are a lot nicer in the Midwest. And so you can't be as abrupt and you can't be as rough and gruff with them, because they don't want to work with you. They won't work with you until they get to know you and see who you really are, right? So you have to learn to adjust to the people that you're working with. And good salespeople are going to be able to do that. And they have to learn how to listen first and foremost and understand what they're working with. Then they can deal with it appropriately.
So what you're saying is, if a person like myself, and I've asked you a ton of different questions because I started just as a software developer, right? And all of a sudden I've got this digital card business and I have to sell them. So I've been pummeling you with different questions, but a person like myself can get impatient when people don't buy right away.
Sure.
And I'm sure that I'm not the only person who feels like, because I laid it all out there. I showed you the value. You told me how great you thought it was. And then wait, you want to think about it? I mean, that kind of stuff. But I would think that that's even more pronounced, as you say. Is it in the Midwest? Is that true? I mean, where there's something like that where you really have to, you need more patience. Is that it? Or
Well, I think patience in general is really something you need in sales. You can't be a pushy salesperson, because if you are a pushy salesperson, you're going to come across as pushy.
right?
You're going to come across, as Larry Levine says, with commission breath, and people are going to pick up on that, right? They're going to see what you're all about.
Mm-hmm.
But part of it is, and Gabe, I know we've talked about these things, but these are little tips and tricks, right? These are the little things that people, I think, forget, is that you have to listen to what people are telling you. And when you're in your process, you can't be all about you. You can't be all about just, hey, let me get my stuff out there.
Right.
I've worked with a company, and their approach was a shotgun approach, in that, let me just shoot everything out there, or the throw up process, right? Where you throw up everything that you have and everything that you know, and you go, okay, now what? When are you going to buy?
Mm-hmm.
And if we take that mentality, then we're going about it all wrong. It's not about throwing up everything you know and waiting for them to go, why aren't you buying? Because I've given you everything. What else? What more do you need to know?
Mm-hmm.
There are certain types of people, the personality types. If you've ever done a DISC profile, DISC,
Right. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
you'll know that there are different pieces of that. There are different segments of that are all about the research. If you don't have third-party information for them to do some research on, then they're not going to buy from you. First and foremost, they're not going to buy until they go and do the research on their own. If you provide information for them, third-party information, not just you telling them how wonderful you are and what a great job you've done, but if you give them that third-party information, that is super helpful, because that helps them get over that, hey, I need to do some research on it, right?
Mm-hmm.
But you also have to remember, Gabe, not everybody is like you, right? And when we're selling, we want people to be like us. And so I'm a high I, means that I'm outgoing, and I love to talk with people, and I want people to like me, and I want to buy things. And so if you convince me and I like you, I'm going to buy from you. That's no question.
Mm-hmm.
But guess what? If I don't like you, you're not going to sell to me. More than likely, you're not going to sell to me. I would go to your counterpart, the guy that's working in the cubicle next to you, right? Because I don't like you enough to buy from you. So,
but isn't that same for most people? I mean,
not necessarily. There's a strong belief and understanding that people buy from others that they know, like, and trust.
right.
And I believe that to a certain extent. That is very true. But guess what? I've met very many people in my years of doing sales. They don't necessarily like me, but they buy from me. And that's really, it's a difficult thing to understand, but they trust me, and they know the product, and they know that I'm not lying to them. But they may not like me. They may not like who I am, and we're not going to be friends, or we're not going to hang out and grab beers afterwards either.
Mm-hmm.
But having said that, it is important for people to know, like, and trust you. But it's more important. It's really, in my mind, it's more important to listen to people, meet them where they're at, meet their needs. And when you can do those things and present it in such a way that they understand it and it makes sense to them, they will buy from you. But don't assume that people are like you. Don't assume that everyone is like you and they're going to buy like you, and they're going to take the same processes that you take to make a purchase.
Right. Yeah. It's always been interesting. It's always been actually fascinating for me, because It is such an art, as it really
Mhm.
is. And I've never been the one that's been pushy. I've been the opposite of that. You don't want, I'll walk away if I hear any negative stuff at all. But at the same time, so I kind of evolved into somebody who is, I think it's just show you the value and help you buy it if that's what you want, and that's made me comfortable. I get frustrated when the person sees the value and doesn't buy it. I didn't do anything to change that. So
Well,
that's the one thing that I kind of struggle with myself. Where
yeah.
I mean, should I be? Could I have done this? Should I have done that?
Mhm.
Or should I have just let it go like I did? I don't. That's the part that I have these internal struggles with.
Well, and here's another thing, right? When people tell you no, that just means not right now. It
Hmm.
doesn't necessarily mean no forever. So
Right.
when you get frustrated, or when we get frustrated by having those conversations, and they go, "Yeah, I really like your product. I can't do it right now." Right.
Hmm.
And that's really what they're telling you is no, right now. It doesn't mean that they're not interested. And that's why we have to nurture those leads, right? We have to continue to work with those leads, and continue to work with those people, because they do want to work with you. They just
Right.
need to, the timing may not be right. They may not be ready for you. Right.
Hmm.
And we change when we're ready to change. And we buy when we're ready to buy.
Right. Yeah. And I think the other thing is that what I've learned and what I keep telling myself is that I'm not their first priority, no
Mhm.
matter what. Right. I mean, they've
Mhm.
got squirrels in their lives that are constantly distracting them, and that are more than many, unfortunately for me, are more important to them than I am, right? But
Yeah.
and so I'm learning that, and I think what I've kind of come to, or at least I'm trying to accept, is like, look, just get more people in your funnel, and
Mhm.
and just keep, and the more and more, just get more and more people in your funnel, and then just handle what handle that, and there should
Yeah.
be enough people that will buy that can make you whole or whatever. So that's kind of what I'm.
Yeah, and don't get so busy with people that you can't keep up with them either, right? I mean, you've got to keep up with the funnel that you do have. Continue to nurture them, continue to work with them, right, until they fall out of the funnel, or they fall deeper into the funnel, and they
Right.
become become a customer. So, but yeah, you're right. Part of it is we get so caught up in with that one client, right? And we think, well, why didn't they buy? And then we
Mhm.
look around and we go, well, there's nobody else that wants to buy. So we're focusing all of our attention on this one particular person,
Right.
right?
Right. Hmm.
Yeah.
So how I'm looking at the numbers up there. I think that means that the zero means that there's nobody watching us right now.
That's
And we had,
okay.
and no, that is okay, because you
They'll
guys
come back
might
later and
get a
catch it.
laugh out of this later.
Yep.
But and it's just like anything else. I think, I'm what I've always been. One thing that I've been is I challenge myself to just keep doing it. Doesn't matter. So I'm not distracted by that. I'm just trying to figure out what those numbers mean. Oh, now all of a sudden, now we have two. So
Don't get distracted. Stay on course.
no,
You're okay,
I'm just
Gabe. You got this.
yeah, exactly. So, but I do want to encourage people, if they do come on, um, to ask questions of Chris, because Chris is, if you're looking at this, you probably are in business for yourself, and or at least in business, and everybody's a salesperson. So you have a platform here where you can ask somebody for free. It's just kind of like, Chris does a clubhouse thing on Tuesdays. Are you still doing that every week?
Yeah. We're still doing that on Tuesdays at 11. Yep.
So
Called
go ahead
Simple.
and
It's called
plug
Simple
that.
Sales Strategies for the Entrepreneurs, and it's hosted by the Sales Club. So you can come and check it out. Harry Spate and I are the co-hosts, and we talk about just tips and tricks on sales, and really helping entrepreneurs like yourself. Gabe, you've come in several times and gotten the benefit of it, right?
Mhm.
But yeah, it's just a great opportunity. We're on for an hour plus, and we just answer people's questions and help people out.
And so, if you're not familiar with, well, for those who are not familiar with Clubhouse, it's a social media platform that is basically all audio. excuse me, and if you have if you have Clubhouse, how do you find you?
Well, the best way is you can look for Coach Chris, and I think my handle is Coach Chris 84 on there, or Coach Chris Consulting. Yeah, when you're looking for me, but you can look up Chris Michel too, and you'll be able to find me. Michel is Michel.
Okay. So. All right. So I'm looking at some of your other questions. I'm trying to find some stuff that's different, like questions that are different. I want to talk about some different stuff.
Well, so let me interject this real quick, okay. I guess. So you talk about, and you asked me about different things, and you talked about why I do the things I get to do, right? I help people out and that kind of stuff. And when people understand why I do what I do, right? I'm very clear about my why. I understand my why. And my why is I am inspired to help people do what inspires them so that they may be fulfilled. Because of that, I do want to help people. I do want to help people like Gabe, right? Like yourself and Lorraine and Carol, right? When people ask me questions, I generally want to help them out. I have no problem with that. I have three or four different segments that I have on my Calendly that I offer free opportunities for people to meet with me for 30 minutes. And let's see if it makes sense. If it makes sense for us to work together and if it makes sense for me to help you out, that's great. But if not, that's okay too. I don't mind. And I've helped many companies like you, Gabe, to get things started, right? Just to understand some of the questions that they have. And it may be something as simple as, how do I handle this particular situation? So I'm interested in helping out. If we need to dive deeper, I can. That's what I'm here for. So I put that out there to say, I'm very clear on why I do what I do. And so I'm very passionate about it. And you see that, I think, when we work together, right?
Right. Yeah. Yeah. That, again, it just goes back to what I was saying before about how everybody in the quote unquote Club 21,000 is there to help each other. And they've all, and as you say, they're all not like me, which is, thankful. I'm thankful for that. But no, they all have different opinions. This one guy, I forget who he was, but he was talking about, people who want to surround themselves with people who are like them because, you guys, you and I have something in common. You're my buddy. I like you. We think about the same things. But really, the real answer is, well, if you think exactly the same way I do, what do I need you for? I mean, because I already got that. So the idea is to surround yourself with other people, and that's like, so when Steve comes into the group, and Sean comes into the group, and all these other, and Lorraine and Carol, and everybody brings these different experiences from different areas in the country, and from different backgrounds and they work in different jobs. They all have these different ideas, and that's why I change things every week, because I get such good information from them. So,
yep, it is. It's a good group.
Yeah. So, all right. Well, we don't have to. I don't think there's a law that says we have to go the whole hour. I was just figuring that we'd go, whatever. And if it's 15 minutes is fine. If it's 45 minutes is fine. Whatever, however it lasts, that's how long it lasts. So
yeah, I think we're at a good stopping point.
Yeah. So well, I do want to thank you for being the first guest on Mondays live at 11. Oh, I never even put up my
you didn't put up all your banners.
Yeah, my overlay. I got that there going. I got a different thing there for my logo, and my other banners too.
Pulling out all the bells and whistles now.
I said so this one, there's the Club 21,000, pushing that. Text Collab to 21,000 for more information. And it's the last one. And you can go to my website, digitalaccelerant.com, to learn about our digital business cards and how you can be part of Club
Yep.
21,000. So, well, I had fun. I mean, I don't know. Do you have any ideas on what else we can do, or else I can do to? I don't know. I mean, you know me. I like to do things differently. I like
Yeah.
I like to have a splash. I like to do things where, oh man, that's really cool. And not that this wasn't, but it was. But it you know,
No,
honestly, we did. You did what I did want to get to is you giving out tidbits of things, and we did. You did do that, which I'm appreciative of, because
absolutely.
that's really what. So that's value for whether or not, even though there's no people, whatever. There are people who may watch this later and still benefit from it.
Yeah.
So that's the one thing I wanted to do. But
Yeah. The
what
key
other?
here, yeah,
What's that?
I was going to say, Gabe, the thing here, Gabe, is continue to have the conversations. When you have conversations, you've had some really good um, groups that you've done through the year, right? Through the year that I've known you,
Right.
the different networking groups and everything that you've done. I love some of the ideas that you've done, and I think the collab that we're doing in on the 18th is going to be one of those things.
Mm-hmm.
But I think just continue to do things like that, and continue, like even with this, continue to have the conversations and continue to bring the value that people are looking for, and that's what people are going to find, and that's what they're going to love about this and the show that you're doing is just continue to make it about them, bring the value for them.
Yeah, I think as we get more people who participate, we could. It would have been nice to field some questions from them and actually, kind of like what you do in Club 21,000. I mean, in your
Clubhouse.
clubhouse thing. Yeah, I've got
Yeah,
Club 21,000 on my brain.
that's okay.
But all right, very cool. Okay, so I'm going to end the broadcast, and
Thanks, Gabe.
we will see you in another. Probably
Time and dimension, right?
this afternoon, actually, when we do have another meeting. So thanks everybody.